And I'm not trying to get fined, me personally.
The battle for BSU.
I haven't yet, but trust me, if I... Never mind. The battle for BSU lower finals. The winner goes on to face Northwood. Let's get into the match.
The lower bracket finals, we smash Fall State. The Cinderella run for the fall split is in full swing. Does it come to a halt here against a Boise State that had their first taste of defeat?
Yeah, the first stumble that we've seen them have all season long, and Oath off to a hot start. He has just been carrying this team all throughout the fall championship, and it comes right out of the kickoff over Preston.
What a beauty of a touch too, Oath, knowing he had to flip to the right to get the angle over the top with his car. What a start. Couldn't ask for anything better. Boise State on notice a lot faster than they'd like. Bit of an awkward second kickoff, however, though. They definitely should get some ground here.
Good to slow things down if you're Boise State. Not what you wanted in the first 5 seconds of gameplay, but hey, you're forced to be awake now. And for Ball State, you said it perfectly. This has been a Cinderella run. I mean, it started off with Columbia College, then they had to face Akron Blue, then West Virginia, then Fisher. I mean, this could just be a storybook championship for them. If they could pull this off by taking down Boise State and then going up, pulling off the bracket reset against Northwood, there would be zero questions in anyone's mind at who's the best in CRL.
Could not take it away from him, that's for sure, as Dirtho, great speed to take it away from Guh, and Fall State kind of trying to rally a little bit here. They're getting caught off guard by the speed from Boise in the midfield finally. It was touch and go there for a moment, but they found their footing. And Boise State just saying, okay, let's see if we can actually get them pinned in here and let Dirtho go to work, as here's Woozy straight towards the center, and Guh just to flex and lets Oath carry it out.
Well, that was an easy save. I like to see it from Boise State. They're utilizing the passing plays, and they're utilizing the speed and mechanics from Dirtho as he gets one to go, and seems like an awkward one on that back wall.
Oopsie daisies, I think. 98 boost, no pressure, knew the shot was coming. Oh, the mechanical misinputs. The raw feels backflip, man, from the backboard. Feels tough. Give it right back in such a way it never feels good, but that's all right. You already had the lead. You're gonna have to score one more anyway to feel good.
Got the reset, but didn't get to use it. And you hate to see those mechanical mishaps, especially at this stage of the bracket, but they're gonna come out regardless of who you are. It's all about how can you shake it off. How are you gonna resolve that in the future as Wova puts that one in between Preston and Dirtho. Right idea is Wova gets a demo and also gets the disruption. He is just looking for names to take down in the death book.
Really a beautiful job from Wova there, just controlling space on the opponent's side of the pitch. It was all about knowing that his teammate was going to take the 50. He just wanted to say that if we win it, we're going to definitely have the ball, and I like to see that faith that you're not worried about potentially losing possession and being down a defender.
Oh, Preston, great demo, but accidentally got the touch on that ball, keeping it away from Woozy. Is this one gonna roll down awkwardly off that back wall? And Dirtho was looking for the bump, couldn't quite come through as Preston was a little too high on that shot, and we still remain all knotted up, and you can basically count it to a mistake on each side of the pitch.
Ooh, and a nasty ball for Dirtho to handle, but a beautiful touch upfield to Woozy, and slowly but surely things have settled down into a relatively even stalemate, I would say. Oh, it's hello Dirtho off the ceiling, crossing the field, and oh my days! What a passing play from Boise State!
Oh, we're gonna have to reinflate the ball after this hit. 92 miles per hour from the top of the box. He put a dent in it and put a dent in the leaderboard as well. Gets his first goal of the series and puts Boise State up by 1.
Good grief. A touch to Dirtho from the ceiling. Where was this Boise State earlier? They were playing well, but certainly nothing of that degree has been shown so far in this tournament, I would say, but you know, I'm glad we got to see it. Fall State on the hook now for 1. And they find some way to break out. Now Boise State, you see a goal like that, it tends to fire a team up and really say, oh yeah, we're in the driver's seat now, and they start to move with a bit more confidence.
Oof. A little awkward there in the back field there for Boise State. And I like to see the confidence growing for Boise State. One thing is certain for this team is you cannot count your chickens before those eggs hatch. They had the lead a few times against Northwood up in that upper bracket, but they just couldn't hang on to the lead. They've got 70 seconds here in game number 1, and they just have to hold on as Woozy a little too high. Could have been a great extension there, but Boise State going to maintain possession.
And Ball State certainly a little bit rattled on defense as well, missing a few touches here and there, allowing extra opportunities for attack to Boise State. And Guy is up way early and forces that touch down to the middle. Wova having to work through 2 people. An opportunity here for Ball State with the extra space, and they go right at it. Woozy all over it. Awkward ball for Boise to try and get a hold of. Down into the front for middle. There's off the bar for Gunn. Unfortunately, Wova's going to be 1 step short. Oath is just going to try and hang on to it.
Oh, we know what CRL stands for. At least the C in it, that's for sure. We've seen it a few times here already in game number 1. And Ball State would love a mulligan on that shot attempt as time ticking away here in game 1, but Ball State maintaining possession, gets the pass, but Oath is a little too far back. They've got to get another back pass, but Woozy just trying to get this ball to hit the ground. Here comes Wova. Ball must stay up, and Preston gonna end it. Boise State steal game 1.
Whew, I'd like to say steal, but I don't know. The 2 sort of awkward mistakes for both teams, and then it took an absolute whirly from Boise State to take the lead. But man, Ball State, their own worst enemy right at the end. An excellent passing play, but like you said, CRL, it's not collegiate, it's crossbar Rocket League, and what are you gonna do? Sometimes it demands the level of precision just outside your capability, and Ball State not going to be happy with the game 1 loss, but overall I think they're pretty satisfied with how it went. It felt like they had their good chances, it felt like they were challenging the ball appropriately, and sometimes I think you just got to tip your cap. Boise State, that was a that was a thing of beauty.
Well, and it's not like Ball State didn't have their opportunities either. They had the exact same scenario play out, where they had a screamer on target, but it just went off the crossbar. So if you're Ball State, yeah, you don't feel good losing game 1, but you don't feel as bad as you could. Hey, we didn't get blown out. Hey, we had shots on target, and we did a great job of kind of stifling the attack from Boise State. They didn't have a ton of opportunities either. So I think you come out in game number 2 and try to play that similarly, other than your accuracy. Obviously, try and hit the back of the net, but don't change things up too much going into game number 2.
And it does feel good to right the ship as well if you're over on that Boise State side of things. You know, you finally taste the bitter pill of defeat in the upper final. And you can rest easy knowing that, okay, we at least started off well in our lower bracket final. They clearly were able to steady themselves and not get too deep into the pits. Had to go out and play a solid game to beat a team like Ball State, considering how they've been playing this tournament. So well done, Boise, to right the ship and see if they can extend the series lead here as game 2 kicks off. Pass for Wova, but too far out of frame, and Durtho will just poke it out to the side.
Yeah, great heads-up play there from Durtho, recognizing that pass coming through and just completely nullifies it as this one passed him, but Woozy goes up and gets 2 to go for Ball State, but Wova gets back down on his wheels, and a little bit of miscommunication there at midfield, but still, the attack going to maintain for Ball State, and Preston cuts out that shot.
And Wova again running interference in that box, preventing the follow-up from Durtho. So that means when Preston pokes it upfield as Woozy makes a great stop, Oath steals the corner boost. But again, Ball State keeping that good deflection in that in the blue box, really, just to prevent quick follow-ups from Boise. Big miscomm, and that is an ugly one to give up.
That is disastrous as well. You gotta have the communication. I'm not sure what Wova was doing. He knew Guh was coming in. And Durtho, easiest goal he'll have all day right there. Puts it between the sticks. And Boise State up early here in game number 2.
Yeah, the idea you want the back pass or maybe the drop pass, and then you realize that your teammate's a lot tighter to the play, and you've already jumped for it. You can't adjust. End up taking it away from him, and tough goal to give up. So for the second time in as many games, awkward play from Ball State cost them an equal game, and they're going to have to work hard to find a lead. Boise State, chance to prove again that they can hang on in a tight game.
Great ball control there from Guh, and Durtho, his aggression led to his demise there, accidentally hit that ball, and look at the speed from Durtho. Coming from the backside to break up that passing play. Just caused a little bit of disruption, a little bit of chaos as Ball State, the offense alive and well, and Oath tucks it in lower corner to tie us up.
I'm really curious what Oath's perspective looks like here. Kind of just... Oh, he jumped before he even saw the defender hitting the ball. That's just...
That's just
I gotta well done realizing that they're not going to hit it, or just committing to making a shot on target regardless of if they do or not. You love to see the decisiveness. Woozy from the kickoff. Deflection from Guh on the net. And Boise State trying to press again off the ensuing kickoff, and Oath not the best control out of his own half, but Woe was there to back him up, and he's just a few boosts short of getting that one on frame.
Just outside of his fingertips on that one. You'd love to see what could happen if you could just refill a little bit of boost midair, but here comes Preston, just pushing this ball back into Ball State's half. I think they just wanted it out of the blue zone as Durtho comes in. Awkward ball. Wova gets it over one, gets it over two. Gonna capitalize the pass off the backboard.
The command from everybody here. Wova takes it up high and gets through Woozy, and then the press in the box forces Preston to come at that ball later than he would like. Oath was in there making things difficult, and that gave just enough room for Guh to slide on through.
Oh, another one, and Oath gets the bump to get Woozy out of the way. Ball State firing on all cylinders.
Mamma mia, Guh committing, says, yep, I'll get it on frame, just get him out of the way. And boy, did they. What a connection from the kickoff from Ball State. From down to having a 2-goal lead in just about a minute. What a turnaround.
Most important thing in a relationship is trust. And it's so true on the Rocket League pitch as well. All three members of Ball State trusting in one another on that play. The shot, simple. Just put it on target, and you called it out, Achieves. Hey, you make contact with that player, it's going to be a goal. Everyone doing their jobs, and doing it darn well, I might add, as Boise State in a little bit of a hole. Just nearing 90 seconds to go here as Oath launches that downfield. Read him like a book.
Picked off and back the other way for sure. It's a loose ball, and Oath called Preston on it. He knew that Preston was never going to be able to catch that ball and cut it middle. He jumped that pass early, knowing that they were going to try and dish it mid. Great recognition from Oath.
And again, Oath doing so much for his team. Although Guh on top of the leaderboard right now. 2 goals, 2 assists, 3 saves. Just doing it all for Ball State right now. And another opportunity. And yep, Oath gonna put it between the sticks, extend the lead. And game 2 gonna definitely go in favor of Ball State.
Now, you want to know some funny statistical wizardry. Wova has 162 score right now, but he has 2 assists. So he hasn't actually hit the ball a whole lot or got a lot of point-generating touches, but the ones he has got have resulted in a lot of good quality opportunities that his teammates have converted on, and he might score one here, but unfortunately that shot straight at Durtho.
So basically, oh, nice bump there. And Wova gonna get himself a goal as well. And you're right, Achieves, just get him the ball because magic happens.
Good things happen when Wova's involved in the play. That's all I will say. Yes, his 2 teammates are both over 500 score. Guh is over 700. But this was a complete game from everybody on Ball State. And we still have 60 seconds to go. It is 6-1. I mean, if you would have told me after Ball State just got beat in game 1 that they were going to come roaring back 6-1, I might have believed you just by nature of how they've played in this tournament so far, as Guh smashes one off the crossbar. But if you told me they were going to do it against Boise State, who is 15-0 in regular season and making a beautiful run through the upper bracket, I would have kind of looked at you a little bit funny and said, are you sure? Rumors of Ball State's demise have been greatly over-exaggerated.
No, I'm not sure. I'm Subi. If you're just joining us, I'm with the Chiefs as Boise puts that shot a little high. And right now, this is all just for theatrics and just kind of what can you put on your resume in your Twitch clip library. As
Brazil,
wants
Boise
one for
State.
the road, and it's for sure gonna happen. He saw Oath had a hat trick. He wanted one as well.
You gotta give it to him. Woozy, not a bad idea, just going for the back pass to Preston to close the game out, but whew, that was a... It's not very... A team just definitely be dialed into exactly what their opponents are trying to do. I mean, you want to see a team run through the box, control space, and say you don't get to get through here for free, and everybody behind that player understanding exactly how to capitalize on it. Watch game 2 of Boise State Ball State. They were all over everything. Pretty game from Ball State.
And putting up a fall champion-esque type performance in this one. Hat trick and a playmaker to his name. And then what we didn't see, he also had a savior medal. So every type of medal other than an exterminator that you could get in the game, he got it. Just doing everything. He was everywhere. And he was everything Ball State needed him to be. The big question is, will Boise State have an answer for that in game number 3?
Yeah, that's what I'm really wondering, because Boise State, it's not like they made any glaring decisions, or errors, right? They weren't mistouching the ball. They weren't missing it in the first place. They weren't getting weak touches. They weren't just not taking command of the ball. They were trying to do all that. Ball State's just like, yeah, we know. And then they just beat them.
Well, it was just the anticipation from Ball State in this one. They were just completely reading what Boise was trying to do with that ball. And if you're Boise State, you gotta not show your hand as early and as often as they did. So many times it's like, okay, you know that they're going for a pass from A to B, and all Ball State had to do was insert themselves in between those 2 points, and they were stealing that ball away. But already, Boise State off to a better start as the kickoff doesn't get nearly scored in the first 5 seconds of the game. And here comes Ball State.
And I'm just looking out for that space control Durtho one-on-one versus Guh. Massive save and Oath, just deflection out into the corner to try and buy some extra time. Preston looking for the left side, an extra touch, not going to be enough. And Ball State survive an early push from Boise, despite it not being quite over just yet. Who's he going to do his best to hold the ball here?
Yeah, use a lot of boost to do it as well. But it's just to maintain possession as you have Durtho playing shark, tries to pass to himself, but gonna rip that one away. But still, Ball State unable to get out of their own half, and just as I say that, here comes Oath, twisting, twirling, and that ball sails harmlessly to the backboard.
Durtho with a nasty cut. Unfortunately, Ball State's still able to get a handle on it, and there's that boost steal sweeping through the box, and it forces Preston to take it into an air dribble. Wova gets a hand on him. Durtho now's got a stretch. He can't reach it, and eyes peeled for the third man, goes and beats them to the ball and just throws it back out of their own half.
Love that from Just the honesty check. All right, I'm going to launch it at your net. Just make sure you're rotating back. They did have slight opportunity there as Wova saw Durtho falling back down from the ceiling. Wise to not hit it right back up at him. As Preston just going to launch that on target. Durtho coming in from nowhere, trying to cut that rotation. And I think because of that, they're going to maintain a little bit of control here as Durtho gets a bump. And my goodness, he recognizes that he's the star player for Boise State, and he's going to have to do a lot if they're going to beat this team.
Nasty situation for Ball State, too. Only one person with boost, and that is a very welcome deep clear and the missed touch. But Wova completely mishits the ball. And Oath just deflects, and that's a double commit from Ball State. Now, don't panic, everybody. You're okay. You just need to communicate on whether or not people are going to be attacking imminently as Dirtho tries to clear the box a little bit. Guh and Oath both jump for it, and Ball State reeling right now, just trying to get settled.
Got to see firsthand how much the opponents respect Dirtho. He went up, had the line for a possible double tap, and both defenders firmly planted on their feet as he missed that one, but here comes Dirtho again. Flip reset, nothing coming from that. 2 minutes left here in game number 3. Still at a stalemate, and who would have guessed it with the offensive firepower we've seen on both sides of the pitch that it would still be knotted up.
Lovely couple of touches from both teams, trying to bob and weave around the defenders. It's Dirtho who ends up coming down with the ball, actually slips through, and Oath, the speed on defense, Guh one-on-one, just flips it at the net to force Preston to stop it. Nice bit of control to freeze the play. Nobody able to really grab any sort of decisive advantage in position or boost. There's the pressure in the box, and Guh, that honestly, if he would have got that anywhere near a scoreable position, I would have been impressed.
Yeah, right idea, trying to disrupt the goalie, but unfortunately no angle to be able to put that ball on target, at least not if you're a human. As the double commit comes out from Boise State as we near 65 seconds to go here. Make that 75 as Oath up to Guh. Guh can't catch up. Great pass, but unfortunately just a little too hot to handle.
And you like to see Oath actually everyone misses, and thankfully they come in and outside of the net frame, and they're able to find a save, Boise State, as now they transition onto the attack. Hard shot left side, denied by Oath, and Guh just kicks it away to safety, says, somebody help, I have no boost, and there's Oath to back him up.
That ball was blinking on the goal line, halfway in, somehow ripped back out as both teams trying to get that first goal. Is Preston able to get there? Didn't have a lot of boost to work with. 30 seconds to go here at Chiefs, and looks like Ball State inching closer, but Preston just has to get it on target. And no, the own goal from Wova!
Wova got caught, hand in the cookie jar, a step too far forward, thinking, can I get back to it? Oh, it went off the bar and down. He thought it was gonna come off the bar and straight out. Ends up smashing it into his own goal with 24 seconds. All right, pull out all the stops, Boise State. What do you got?
Not a lot of time to work with, and it did look like they were inching closer and closer to that goal line as Guh a little too far forward on that play. 10 seconds to go. They've got to march the full length of the field. They're going to try and do it in tandem. Terrible touch as that one goes up. Dirtho rips it away. This one gonna have to stay up. Not gonna happen with a pinch like that. And Boise State, I think this one we can safely say, steal away game number 3.
Steal away for sure. Ball State tried to just drive the nail home a little too aggressively, too late in the game, not enough time to recover. And unfortunately, a nasty own goal from Wova will cost them, will tie the series. Oh, wait, no, that was game 3. That puts Boise State up 2-1. Yeah. So, Ball State, honestly, I thought they were playing the better game, despite, I believe, Boise State having the shot advantage. They had about 10, but definitely felt a lot more threat coming from the Ball State push. Unfortunately, none of them able to find pay dirt, and Boise State, you'll take what you can get. It was the honesty check, right? A lot of Ball State's touches were honesty checks, and Boise State finally fired one right back at them, and Ball State said, you know what, you got us that time.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those situations for Ball State where you got to learn from that. Yeah, you have the pressure, and you might feel super confident that you're about to score, but unless that ball has caused that explosion, nothing's for certain, and they've got to recognize that they can't pull that third man into that box close like that, because situations like that where Boise State just launch it between the dotted lines in hopes that it's going to go in, I hope Ball State recognizes now, okay, we've got to play that third man a little softer. We can't play so aggressively.
Well, I think a lot of that positioning is dictated by how they like to play, right? Because if they're sweeping through the box in such an aggressive way to try and open up the space, you might need that third man to be that tight to actually capitalize on the gap. Because it's never actually big unless they actually hit the demo, right? And more often than not, the person in the net just kind of goes back and tucks himself away in the corner, and that's that small opening that they're trying to capitalize on. So it's certainly a very double-edged approach to take, as you can see.
Here comes Dirtho, just trying to cause chaos once again, as Oath gonna just put that one into the side wall, and Boise State doing a great job of building pressure, but Preston couldn't get the touch on that ball. It needed a little more oomph to go with that, as Guh somehow comes out the victor in that ball challenge. But again, Boise State, the passing plays on point, but an insane save from Guh to keep us scoreless.
How on earth did Guh get that off the bar? One kind of reaction like I wish I was able to have consistently.
Yeah, the reaction speed, not quite what it used to be. I can attest to that, my friend. Someone says duck, and 5 seconds later, I say quack as Guh infield pass to Oath and almost found his mark. He was trying to tuck that one inside the post. Just a little off as the pressure building from Ball State, and a missed flip from Wova gonna turn this ball over.
And it was a free touch to him in the midfield as well. He was gearing up to smash one on frame, and it's twice that mechanical misinput comes through. Tough stuff, but at least it doesn't cost you too much. Still an even game. Gets the flip, I think. Either way, didn't have the boost to feel comfortable. Now he jumps up right in front of the box. Oath is charged with defense and certainly equal to the task.
Yeah, great touch as well. Nice and lightly into that corner as had to pre-flip. Dirtho there to punish. Puts the first one in for Boise State.
And Wova positioned in the goal here, thinking that Guh's going to win this ball forward, or at least it's going to come off the backboard. Unfortunately, it comes off the backboard and straight up and down, and no chance for Wova to make an adjustment. Like you said, Dirtho all over it.
Great positioning from Dirtho there, just in case that rebound comes out, as Oath goes up and Woozy denies. Great defense so far from Boise State. They've been able to keep all 3 of the shots from Ball State at bay, and Woozy goes in and comes out, gets the save, and maintains the lead for Boise State.
And Boise State starting to take a little bit of that Ball State playbook, following that play forward, trying to slow down that clearing defense from Ball State. Hasn't paid too many dividends yet, but for real, Boise State starting to get a lot of good challenges in the midfield line and making it significantly more difficult for Ball State to transition.
Yeah, Boise State, I'm sorry. I don't want to upset anyone. I know how college sports are. But right now doing a great job of boxing in Ball State. Ball State having a really difficult time not only gathering up boosts, but getting this ball past midfield. It just hasn't happened, and as I say that, here comes Oath. Gets that ball stripped away, immediately turnover. And Guh trying to start something for Ball State.
And Oath wanted a crazy redirect just to force Boise State on the back foot. Unfortunately, they all missed. Now Ball State's in a very tight spot defensively. Nobody's really set. Nobody's had time to grab boost. Massively welcome pinch. Thankfully, the defenses were in order for Boise State, and they don't get caught sleeping. But time now certainly a factor here for Ball State. Potential match point looming. You need to get one here.
Gotta get one. Gotta battle through that adversity. As Guh comes out, and that's not gonna get the job done. Preston smartly just passes it over to Dirtho. Right now, Ball State trying to do anything to get the offense started. This is a good way. Force the mistake to come out. And Wova, what a beautiful pass. Got to get it far post and in. And Guh baits the defenders out. Hook, line, and sinker.
What a touch from Oath and Wova, the selflessness. 2 people commit to the corner, and Guh understanding that, look, my first touch was not good, so let's just hold on to the ball an extra split second. He knows Boise State's gonna be panicking to try and race back to net. They overcommit towards the middle, scores a nice goal into the left side, and makes the defense look silly.
This little back pass there from Preston as Guh cuts that one out. Gotta get a touch here. Here comes Wova. This is dangerous as Preston wins that 50, but Oath gonna keep the ball alive for Ball State. Wova goes up. Beautiful pass indeed. Here comes Guh. Need that touch. Gotta get in front of that ball. Not gonna happen. Durtho, too big, too strong, too on target.
It was a beautiful touch off the ceiling. The only problem is Boise State saw it coming, and boy, were they ready to go back the other way. Ball State sent the house, and Boise State says, hang on, jailbreak. We're out, and we're ahead with 20 seconds.
The best players always find themselves in the right place at the right time. But here comes Guh, almost for Ball State. It's not done yet. 10 seconds to go. They gotta get this one in. Everyone goes, but the ball doesn't find the back of the net, and just like that, Wova knocks us up again.
I gotta say, I respect Oath so much for not trying to shoot this. He was just so focused on taking that 50 and not letting that ball out of the box. He was like, just get in front of it, hold it as much as possible. And boy, did he put a lot of trust in Wova to smash that one top of the net.
Awkward for Ball State, but they do let it hit the ground. And overtime, our first one yet in this series. And no way, okay. I was about to say, just a comedy of errors on that play to lead to a series tying goal, but no, Ball State gonna have to actually work for it. As Oath comes in, there was a bump on Durtho, but he's able to get back in time, and Guh had no shot available, just gonna keep it alive. And the boost steal, but just a great touch from Durtho. I'm not sure if he recognized that or if his teammates called it out, but he couldn't have played that better.
Oh gosh, it's an absolute disaster of transition. Thankfully, Oath is able to regain the ball, and actually it might work out. Boise State might have thought they had something, and now it's a very precarious position for Preston. A flip reset that goes nowhere, and it's jammed off the post. Oath off the bar. Guh's not gonna have anything. Oath's gonna be kicking himself.
Oh, that was it. The series was about to be tied, but Ball State missed fires on that play, and Boise State still left alive, and Durtho keeps it alive on the goal line, and somehow Boise State come out unscathed.
You can see Guh try and take the stutter step to throw off the timing. Oath gives a little traded paint on the side. Guh wants to rip it on frame, and Preston gets over the bump and clears it out. Ball State with beautiful opportunities. Here's another one. Preston's ready for that. Wova wants a touch into the middle. Guh wants one out for Oath. Going near side. Preston able to adjust. Ball State looking for everything at long last. The nail will be driven home. Boise State will have to win 2 more still.
I mean, after the first 10 saves, it was like, that's great, but you gotta get this ball out of your half. And Ball State, it was 18 or 19 shots on target in game number 4 to knot this series up, just refusing to back down, refusing to be turned away. And they really feel like they have a date with destiny. They're 2 wins away from putting themselves in the grand finals.
Goodness gracious me. Boise State, what is that? 14 saves.
Oh my.
With the 19 shots coming out of Ball State, 3 of them found the back, so only a handful unaccounted for. But my goodness, Ball State, I am astounded that they won that game. I thought Boise State kept finding a way to make those stops, and they were surely going to outlast them. But nothing, all good things must come to an end, right?
Oh, man. Some insane saves on that one. But yeah, just too much to handle in the end. And with all of that said and done, we've played 4 games, and it's basically been for nothing. We're all tied up still. We put ourselves in a best of 3. The desk said, hey, for sure we're going to 7, and it is certainly looking that way.
I would certainly believe you now. I'm still reeling from Boise State and Ball State's willingness to be so, what's the word I want? I don't want to say cautious, but they understand that, look, we can't just go 100 miles per hour straight at the net and expect to be successful. They know that the only way forward is through, roguery and trickery of some type on the offensive side of things, because the defense is just that solid for both squads. It's taking these cheeky, we gotta sweep the net, we have to touch it off the ceiling and go for an awkward dump pass into the middle, we gotta stutter step in front of the box. It's that type of play that's the only way forward for these teams, because both sides playing so solid defensively.
Oh, nice touch there from Durtho, but better defense from Guh, and I agree with you, Achieves. In a series like this, it almost seems counterintuitive, but you've got to be willing to take 2 steps back to take that 1 step forward. Mm-hmm. You've got to be able to constantly be adjusting, be in your opponent's head, make them second guess what's going on. Don't show the same move twice. And you got to feint. You got to make some fakes out there. And both teams doing it perfectly in this series as Ball State completely bunched up on that play.
They ran into each other.
Coming in and keeping things alive, but Ball State going to try and maintain possession.
And they won't quite be able to do that just yet. Woozy almost threading the needle there with that shot. Durtho says, hello, I'm still a person on the pitch. You got to pay attention. And honestly, I kind of like the idea of Durtho just saying, look, I'm coming, and just trust Preston and Woozy to make some type of play. As he honestly should not hit that.
What?
See what it was? Come on. That was the biggest whiff ever.
Oh, I mean, I don't think Durtho was intending to back pass that one. It was pretty sweet. Would have led to an insane goal, but yeah, that... Wow, talk about a huge swing and a miss. That thing was set up on a tee and he just whiffed.
Strike one for sure. But all things considered, Woozy, you should have this one. And Wova right there to meet him. Talk about always having to be aware on defense. I mean, you see a ball get bombed over your head like that, and you know it's not going to be out. You can make the touch. But the timing of Ball State, because right when you catch that, they're right on top of you. And that is really what scares a lot of defenses, because it makes you feel like you never have any space to make a comfortable touch.
Right. Well, that's what has led to their success in the second half of this season, is the fact that they've kind of played to their strengths. And what was their downfall in the beginning of the season was their aggression. And they've figured it out. Okay, hey, if we can make sure that these strong mechanical players don't have a lot of time to work with, it's only going to benefit us. We've got to all be on the same page, and we've got to have those rotations like a nice, clean whirlpool where it's just fluid. Right now, Boise State going to go up by 1. Woozy just rips this one away.
The best part was it felt so fluid on that transition. You know, they took it around their own net. It was a perfect dump off the gut, and Oath is thinking, I need some boost. I'm going to... Oh, it's past me. You think you've got a little bit of time to make sure you get set, but incorrect. Boise State steal one.
Got to keep that ball a little closer to the chest. If you're Ball State, especially if you're that last man back, is Guh going to go over to Oath, and just a little too far away from him on that, and a great touch by Preston to push it back towards midfield as Wova gets the boost steal. Let's see if this slows down Boise State. Let's see if Oath can do anything. He gets the bump, but Durtho, again, the positioning, precise and on point from him.
Ooh, and Woozy. Love the understanding. Yes, he knows that shot's high, but he knows he can't afford to let it bounce. He's seen all of Ball State be ready to go up and take that one away from a defense too many times. Found a nice, solid clear, and one thing remains consistent throughout this series, Subi. It's tended to be Ball State who's had to come back from the deficit. And while I feel like they've been playing an excellent series, constantly having to fight from behind is so difficult.
Yeah, it really is, and this game, almost a complete the complete opposite, rather, of game number 4. So far, Ball State only 2 shots on target. It's going to stay that way. As Wova was looking for a little disruption, gets the touch, and the passing plays are great. So far, Boise State's... What?
Did he have boost? Let's see. All right, Wova has 0 right now. He picks up 12. Honesty check. Oh, and he can't reach it.
It's just unfortunate. And that's why sometimes it might seem silly, but just launch that ball at net. I know I sound like a broken record, but you never know what your opponent has in the tank, and right there proves exactly that. But Oath gonna bring us within 1. Great pass and great double.
You love to see the quick regain from Ball State, because now the situation is exactly the same, right? It's still limited time, you still need 1. You completely wipe the whiff off the board. It is what it is. And if you're Ball State, nice shot, thank you very much. But the honesty check is definitely the way to go if you're Boise State. You've got the lead. They have to keep it out of the net, and it can be very difficult with some of the well-placed shots Boise State's been putting on frame. 15 left, missed touch. God, can you do anything? That's a massive win. Wova towards goal and just not able to squeeze it in.
Oh, but it's not done yet. Wova keeps it alive. Here
Looking
comes
for
Guh. Oh, he was looking for Oath. He needed to get that to the right. Guh on target, and Preston gets the save. And a savior medal as well with that one. Boise State put Ball State not only on notice, but on match point.
You knew that there was going to be an opportunity there, but unfortunately that missed touch right at the end from Ball State. Looking for Oath across the box, definitely the right idea, but so difficult, unfortunately, to execute, and 1 finally got away from him. Boise State, gotta say, love the turnaround here in Game 5. They allowed 19 shots last game. This one they allowed 5. Massive improvement, held the shot advantage, kept Ball State on the heels, and honestly just said, look, we've got a lead, we're gonna force you to respect the shots on target. One of them slipped through, and what can you do? Ball State had a chance, but not equal to it.
Yeah, anytime you cut down the opponent's shots by 75%, it's a good day at the office, regardless of if they had 20 or 4 the game before. And Boise State forcing Ball State to use their one and only timeout. See, it's looking a lot more serious over on the Ball State side.
It sinks in now, right?
It really does. You start to feel like, okay, we definitely are human in this matchup, and it's not written in stone yet. It's not written in the stars just because we've had this awesome run, but they've had a little experience in this situation before, going up against Akron Blue. Yeah, it was a best of 5, but that one too went all the way, and they were put on match point. They were able to force a Game 5. They got to do the same here. They got to take it to 7. You got to win 2 in a row. It's so much easier said than done against a team like Boise State.
And Boise State settling back down after the timeout, getting up, taking a few moments to themselves, away from the cameras. I like that. It's a good idea. I think it's a good mental reset to just get up, walk away, sit down, and say, okay, let's do this. Right towards the end of the timeout. And Boise State, whew, talk about having to work for your meal.
Well, and that
All
meal,
States.
the meal that's waiting for you, your eyes might be bigger than your stomach. I mean, Northwood is a tough team to handle, and now, regardless of who wins here, we've already said it, but again, it needs to be overstated. You gotta beat Northwood twice in a best-of-7 series. It's gonna be a tough one, but first, let's get back into this one, and let's figure out who's gonna make their mark into the grand finals.
And boy, oh boy, who's it gonna be this game? It feels like at all times throughout this series, someone has just made us go, oh my days. They are taking over, and Durtho trying to do just that. Wova deflected from the crossbar. Uzi needs a little bit of help here in the middle. Just forcing the option out. Oath will just punt for space. Nice redirect out to open ground to buy a few precious seconds for everyone to get set on the Ball State defense, but Boise State picking up right where they left off, essentially pressuring Ball State, keeping them on the back foot, playing as if they've got a lead.
Well, and they're almost fighting fire with fire right now, like kind of taking Ball State's game from them and saying, okay, let's see how you like it. Is Urtho, big swing and a miss on that play. Got to avoid the demo as Urtho was hot on his heels, and Wova up to Oath, and Oath just backed off. He was trying to fake it out. Right idea on that play, but Urtho a little wise on that one.
You gotta love Urtho understanding that, hey, if you redirect it, it's wide. I'm playing the ball all the way. Love to see that recognition from the defender. So savvy. Preston actually just walks away with possession. I don't think even they expected to just have it. Oath turns Urtho to dust, but Woozy with an air dribble gets it stolen off his nose. Urtho out to the corner, just try and reset the Boise State position here.
Heads up. Nice play from Oath, but you got stuck in a pickle. What do? Accept your fate or hit the ball? He chose option B, and it falls right into Preston's hands.
And Oath, I'm sure he's not upset he got scored on, and to be honest, he shouldn't be, but I bet he feels like he could have saved that second shot too if he would have controlled his descent a little bit more. Either way, Ball State, again, in the hole, having to find a way through to equalize and eventually win. Such a tough position to be playing from. But once more unto the breach, as they say.
Boise State, once again, back on offense. And Ball State, they've got to try and just get some offense going rather than going for... Oh, nice bump. It's going to open things up, and Wova going to tie us up. Way to capitalize on the little bit of mistake that came out from Boise State.
Oath, he just committed. He had zero boost and says, nope, I'm playing the ball. I don't care. I have nothing better to do. And it ended up working out. All of Boise State probably looking at him like, what is this psycho doing with no boost trying to stick on this play? Well, he's opening the door for his teammates.
And already another shot. And look at that touch from Urtho. So uncharacteristic. You don't see those typically as Urtho. First touch, nice and soft. Oath gonna rip that one away. And again, Ball State scrambling a little bit. The double commit comes out, but firmly plants himself up on that backboard and takes that one away from Urtho.
Ooh, and Oath expecting Preston to try and go straight back into the middle. Ball State trying to spread themselves back out on defense and get a good sense of what Boise State is capable of. And hello, we will call that a clear for Oath with the bump on Urtho. Ball State still boxed in. It's been a brutal almost 10 minutes, to be honest. Haven't had a whole lot of time over on that blue side. One way or the other, it's tied 1-1.
That's awkward. That is too awkward. Yeah, the moment Guh went up and couldn't get that contact, Woozy knew all he had to do was dot this one up as Guh had to avoid the bump there. That's why he had to flip out of the way from Preston. It's just too much to handle from Boise State right now.
Nice piece of pressure for sure. Definitely kind of handcuffed the Ball State defense. And now, I'm really not too sure what you do if you're Ball State here. You've kind of been getting locked down for too long to feel comfortable saying, yeah, they've got something in the tank. Obviously, we know the attack is there. But the attack hasn't been, going for quite some time now.
If you're Ball State, you've got to create offense yourself, as that one just off the mark. They've kind of just gotten comfortable in the fact that they've been able to score goals off of the mistakes from Boise State and the positioning errors from Boise State. And the last two games haven't really had much offense to speak for, as they do there.
Yep.
And nice shot from Wova, but I love the pinch pass to get it going.
Huge push, and Oath really trying to force the issue here. Obviously, I think everyone thought his shot was going to be in, but you love to see Wova ready just in case, and more importantly, no boost, still delivers a great ball into the lower right-hand side. Required placement and executed.
Just because you're boostless doesn't mean you're useless. You don't need to rotate out of your own half You don't have boosts. You can still do so much for your team. All you rotating out does is kill the pressure, kill the momentum that you've worked so hard to build up as, big swing and a miss. And Durtho, rare mistake there from him. We're used to the mechanics, especially in a 1v1 situation. Turns that ball over, and now Ball State with an opportunity with now 15 to go.
Ooh, and a good option here for Ball State. Oh, that's a massive clear from Durtho with possession as well, forcing Oath further back. Great control there to waste some precious seconds off the clock. OT looming. Do you keep it up? No, they elect to
Definitely
let it fall. Game 6. All right, Ball State. No pressure.
Awkward ball there in midfield, and Boise comes in to break that one up. Lova at 50 from him, but again, passing plays are there, and that one off the mark. And Wova forced to get up, keep that ball out as Durtho coming in, getting the bump. That's it, and Woozy gonna send Boise State back up to the grand finals to face Northwood.
Devastating play. Guh misses the touch. Wova misses the touch. Guh is the only option again as he's recovering on the backboard. He gets bumped out by Durtho. Boise State waltz their way back to the grand final. It was tight, hotly contested. But as we said, all good things must come to an end, and the beautiful, beautiful run of Ball State will fall just short of the grand finals, not the equals of Boise State this time.
Yeah, even though they were outscored 15-10 in the series, Boise State, all it took them was 6 games to get back up to the grand finals. They tasted defeat for the first time this semester. It was at the hand of Northwood, but can they get revenge is the question everyone wants to know. We're once again gonna have that battle between East and West, and it's gonna be another thrilling series. I can't wait, Achieves.
Man, I'm wondering if Boise State knew, if they knew they were going back, or was there ever a part in their mind that was just like, I don't know, Ball State, they're out here making us work. Maybe a little bit nervous when you get 19 shots put on you, but after that, Boise State absolutely poured it on. Great show from all 3 of them. A complete series, I think, from all 6 players on the pitch here. Somebody had to lose. It unfortunately was Ball State. Some good adjustments from both teams, some beautiful plays on defense, and the attack was creative when it needed to be. And unfortunately, not enough this time for Ball State, but we'll see what the spring split has in store. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. I mean, this team has found their footing, and if they can stop being so sporadic, and I understand the sporadic nature kind of leads to their success, but if they can reel it in just a little bit, I think they'll find so much more success. But ultimately, Boise State just kept doing the things that found success throughout the entire fall season, and it worked to their advantage this time.
Yeah, huge series from Boise State. They work their way back to the grand finals. They're going to get a second look at Northwood. So when we come back, you're not going to want to miss it. You're watching the CRL Fall Championship. Come back.